Hey, this is it. Another message from the future. From 2025. I don't think anyone will ever see my warnings. And even if they do see it, why would anyone believe me? But I must keep hope. This horrible, dreadful life I live in 2025 must be changed. I will make another message someday about how people live in 2025. Perhaps it will help anyone that listens to this to wake up and do something. But sometimes I think, can I really change the future by altering the past? Or would I just create a different timeline? I watched all the time travel movies, and there isn't any consensus. Wish my father was still alive to explain me. Well, in any case, what can I try to prevent today? Maybe I should talk about America. A country that was crucial for the current present. A country that started a chain of events that led to 2025. I will only talk about what I can remember. I don't want to risk searching anything online. The Foundation may think I know something about the time travel device. I am sure Google and other search engines sell information to them. The all-seeing Foundation. The puppet masters. The 1%. The one who rule every other one. I tremble just thinking how far their tentacles reach. Anyway. America. In January 2021, the unthinkable happened, and the president gets re-elected. While in previous year, his approval rating were crumbling down, he did force the American vaccine to become affordable to the average citizen, which contributed to stop the infection rate immensely. He also provided further economic help, and promised a 5% boost in everyone's paycheck if he got elected. To help the economy. Crazy talk, but it did work. Although once again, people talked of rigged elections, and manipulated votes. I personally think that is a strong possibility, but the fact that his opponent was so weak and ineffective on the presidential debates did help him. Anyway, he remained in the White House. 4 more years. He immediately started to make things bad when vowing to make China pay for the making of the virus. Now bear in mind, at this point there is absolutely no proof that this was a man-made virus. The whole bat theory still holds. But, America was in a sort of economic war against China, banning apps, applying economic sanctions. But this was perhaps what made things worse. China didn't like his accusations, and warned him to stop these insults, or suffer the consequences. Of course, this was the worst move, because to save face, the president would just do worse. He would never liked to be seen as a coward. Next week, after a barrage of insults, he said that China was hiding something due to the fact that they still didn't let anyone go to Wuhan to investigate what happened. They still refused to make public their initial virus reports, or any sort of information on Wuhan's patient zero. And of course, any talk of international teams to investigate the biological lab in Wuhan was immediately denied. At the end of this month, the President of America said that he was going to deploy military teams near the Chinese borders, and that the truth about Wuhan was going to be known, one way or another. International consensus was against such move, and begged him to reconsider. Sure enough, beginning of February 2021, their troops make a base near Chinese borders. They don't attempt to enter or do nothing, they are just there. Chinese troops await on their side of the border. European leaders report to attempt to enter conversation with both sides. For over the first 2 weeks, nothing happens, but you could feel the tension in every news report. And in one press conference, everything goes worse. You must understand, he was never a diplomat, and when forced to answer questions, that's when his worst side showed. I don't recall the exact question, or anything he said before, but I still remember his face when he said, "Trust me, I have no problem to go nuclear if I have to." And that went around the world. Tension escalated. China said they would fight in equal terms if necessary. All around America and Europe, protests against war started. North Korea decided to join the fun, and publicly vowed to fight alongside China against the enemy. Russia kept quiet. I remember these were very scary times. We had just achieved a huge victory against a global pandemic together, and suddenly, a nuclear war was a possibility. Another thing that was engraved in my mind, was in a television debate, when some old war expert and military advisor said that no country would ever go against each other in a nuclear war. That would be insane, and only happened in movies and video games. To which the host asked, "Didn't people also used to say that about global pandemics?" And the guy just laughed nervously and couldn't even mumble a decent reply to that. Indeed, scary times. But perhaps the most surreal was to come. March 2021. The president is out visiting towns, trying to change public opinion, and goes to a rally at Alabama Stadium. Lots of people cheering him, while he laughs, and says that America never backs down. People go wild. The stadium is at his very command. Hundreds mindlessly applaud his every word. Then a shot is heard. The president was murdered. Cameras filming the security agents around him fall down under hundreds of people trying to flee the stadium. At least 132 people die, squashed by the feet of a running mass of humans. The killer is never caught. Immediately, the world vomits all of the conspiracy theories they can think of. The most popular one is that a single sniper, ordered by China, murdered him. Others say that Europe did the order, to save the world from going into nuclear oblivion. Some even say the own American government, realizing they can't control the president, and that things were spiraling out of control, ordered the CIA to shoot the president. Right now, today, I know better. I am sure the foundation is involved. The vice president gets the office. World leaders, including China, mourn him. The very next day, all over the streets of America, an unprecedented celebration happens in the streets over a murdered president. Which of course, immediately turns into fights in some cities, as the president's supporters flock to the scene. That same week, the vice president apologizes for failing America, but says he is not fit to lead, and a new election goes underway. This time, there is no campaigning. Citizens should pick their candidate of all the available ones. The president's daughter announces she will run for presidency. Attractive, smart, diplomatic, charismatic, everything her father wasn't. She actually had a good chance of winning, especially since she managed to earn people's sympathy over her loss. The infection rate of the virus keeps declining, as more and more people get their vaccine, due to a global effort of the majority of the countries to spread the vaccine. All in all, no one even cares about that anymore, as all the news talk about is the president's assassination and the new elections. It's April 2021. The president's daughter wins by a large margin, becoming the first woman president of America. Again, people suspect of manipulation of the elections, but that is quickly forgotten, as riots keep happening in America, due to a presidential murder, the Black Lives Matter movement again, as well as protests against the China situation and growing unemployment. All over the world, it would seem every country was having some sort of protest against something. In Belarus, it was an all-out civil war against their leader-dictator. And that would make people talk not only of America in May 2021, but moreover the events worldwide. From what I can remember, American troops retreat from China, which was a good thing, but the economic sanctions are still in place, and the Chinese president still refuses to enter negotiations. For some reason, Iraq started showing support to China, which could have been a move to get economic help from their side, since their economy was in shambles. At the same time, India and Pakistan dispute over the territory of Kashmir reignites, as both parties again claim their right to the region, after Indian troops kill Pakistani civilians in an accident. August. Summertime. Vacations. The virus is no longer feared at this point. The vaccine became easily available, and the death toll decreased immensely. It's mostly a conversation topic of something that happened and that humanity defeated. No big deal. Economy is starting to recover slowly worldwide, businesses are blooming, traveling is in an all-time high. Everyone want to go to make their long-awaited travel vacation. The biggest Black Lives Matter protest happens in this year, as a black woman is shot by a police officer. The president proposes a law to reform the police completely, with more people of color to be hired, which improves her popularity and her approval ratings are much better than her father. She is slowly winning everyone over. Tensions are still high in India and Pakistan, and it seems that a war between these two is only a mistake away. September 2021. China becomes a big player in South America. They were already helping in Venezuela months ago, with Chinese workers and factories there, helping their much-needed economy. So say Venezuela president is merely a Chinese puppet today. But the results show. And as their neighboring countries also are struggling after the pandemic, talks about asking for help to Chinese are underway. This month, something happens with popular podcast host Joe Rogan, that I think it could have been a major changing event. He could have changed the future, I think. But I will talk about that some other time. October 2021. This is it. Beginning of the end. The moment God said, "You know what, humanity? I gave you a second chance and you ruined it." Yes, this month, the virus mutated. It's a different beast. This new virus's patient zero dies. Everything starts again, worse, much worse than before. In this same month, the virus also appears in Italy, Russia, and China, quickly spreading in just a week. Much likely due to all the traveling that was normal at this point. There is a run to get the vaccine, people want to get a second shot of the same vaccine, and the mass production of it is ordered to increase, although it is soon revealed to be ineffective. Scientists discover the vaccine does nothing to this new virus. And this is where everything starts to go wrong. God, it is so surreal to say all this out loud. It looks like a script to a movie. Still today, I struggle to believe all this ever happened. All this is still happening. But this is Virus 2025. Be safe. Please.